the Everton Park Sports Centre in the heart of Liverpool. It's been at the heart of the boxing revival in this city too, and in front of feverish home support, new local heroes have been emerging, led by Shane Neary, the light welterweight star. Now, there's Gary Thornhill, the super featherweight, and he enjoyed his biggest win in this hall, inflicting a first defeat on Dean Pithy. It brought Thornhill to national attention. Thornhill defends his Intercontinental title for the first time tonight. Against him, Steve Conway, another youngster off the Brendan Ingle production line. That's our top of the bill here, but the Liverpudlian Thornhill very much on home territory. And a very good evening to you. All the ingredients are here tonight for 12 rounds of championship action at super featherweight. We have a sellout crowd once more here in Liverpool. Frankly, this has become one of the noisiest venues on the circuit, this Everton Park Sports Centre, and again tonight it looks like being a noisy and rather festive end to the boxing year here. But no time to lose for Gary Thornhill, our top of the bill. He is a little reluctant generally in the spotlight, it has to be said. 30 years of age already, only one defeat, but if he really wants to be considered a top name in this country, this is one he simply has to win here. Joining me tonight, Barry McGuigan in the studio and Glenn McCrory at ringside. We'll be hearing from both a little later on. And also tonight, a couple of the best prospects in this country. Two Manchester fighters, both are age 20. First up, Anthony Farnell, the light middleweight. He was in action a little earlier on, looking to extend his winning run to 13 and crown an excellent year. We'll show you what happened in his fight a little later on. That's after we've seen the other young Manchester star in action. He's live. It's Ricky Hatton at light welterweight, looking for his 10th straight win. 5 of his victims so far have gone in the first round. The man in the other corner tonight is Paul Denton. Our commentary team at ringside tonight, it's Reg Guttridge and Jim Watt. And first, our master of ceremonies, Mike Goodall.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome viewers live and exclusive to Championship Boxing on Sky Sports at Everton Park Leisure Centre in Liverpool, where Frank Warren, in association with Stephen Vaughan, proudly presents Championship Boxing. We begin our coverage this evening with a contest over 8 3-minute rounds in the light welterweight division. And firstly, introducing in the red corner, wearing the white trunks with the red trim, fighting out of Birmingham. He has had 18 fights as a professional, 7 wins, 6 wins by way of KO, with 9 losses and 2 draws. He weighed in at 10 stone, 1.5 pounds. Please welcome Paul Denton. And his opponent across the ring in the blue corner, wearing the blue and gold trunks, fighting out of the Phoenix camp in Manchester. He is undefeated as a professional, 9 wins from 9 contests, 6 wins by way of knockout. He weighed in at 10 stone, 1.75 pounds. A welcome for Richard, the Hitman Hatton. Your officials appointed by the Central Area Council of the British Boxing Board of Control, the timekeeper, Mr. Colin Roberts, the referee, Mr. Keith Garner, and this is 8 3-minute rounds.
Well, the usual staring in there, but the referee, they're not really listening to him. I suspect they've been all through it before. This is really one of the genuine hot prospects of the game, actually, I think, Ricky Hatton, at 20 years old, won 9 on the spin, and gave up being a good soccer prospect, we understand, at Manchester City, in the School of Excellence back in '90, to become a boxer. And so far, he's done it in style. His last fight was at Atlantic City. He won in the first round. Previously appeared at Madison Square Garden.
Denton just landed a lovely leading right uppercut there, right onto Hatton's chin there, right up through the guard.
Let's put a dent on in his chin, Jimmy, want me to say, don't you?
Well, if I had to choose the most exciting young fighter in the country at the moment, I would go for this fellow here, Hatton. Everything just coming along nicely. Getting better every time out. Probably not a fighter I would want to rush because he still has some work to do in his defence. But what a good looking little fighter he is.
Yeah, he's with the Frank Warren stable and trainer Billy Graham. out of Manchester. Sensible lad, but I understand. I've chatted him myself as well. But Paul Denton knows his way around from Birmingham. Trouble is, he might be a little bit shell-shocked. He lost his last time out in one round to Neil Sinclair in Dublin, Denton. But as you say, Jim, you know, catching Hatton early on with a very respectable punch indeed.
Yeah, but he's just missed his whisker with a nice left uppercut there. No, Denton's a decent test, so Hatton just wants to take his time. Just don't do anything silly. Don't be too eager to please. That's maybe one of his faults, if you like. He's just a little bit eager to please. In a hurry to get the job over with. Just settle down.
We watched him do a spectacular job in Germany, didn't we, Jim? Ricky Hatton in 2 rounds. So he really has been around. He was as an amateur as well to get the experience. He as far away as Havana.
But this is a better match, Reg, than the German one, obviously. I mean, Denton, good solid pro. I mean, this is the kind of fight you want for Hatton now. Just nudge him along gently.
Oh, he picked that shot beautifully there with a left hook to the body. Light welterweight division. So there is the trainer from Salford. And let's have another look, Jim. He picks these punches, but up there it comes, bingo, right between the guard.
Yeah, let's go some nice punches. Denton not guilty of holding up close. So that's given Hatton a bit more time and a bit more room to work. I think as the fight progresses, Denton might start grabbing hold up close.
Denton's got the wise old owl, Brendan Ingle, in his corner, and well, he'll need all his wisdom between rounds because he's up against it here. But as you say, just got extra experience. 28 years old anyway. And he's been in with class. I mean, he fought in South Africa against that boxer Shapers, who boxed Shane Neary here in Liverpool. Well, that was a good performance.
Denton just beginning to spoil a bit now, Reg. I mean, in the first round he wasn't guilty of this, but starting now just to make it a bit untidy.
Well, with Denton, Jim, and I'm not always basing everything on records. It's a long time since he's had a win. And this is the last guy in the world. See, I like the way he steps aside like that and then lets a punch go and Hatton.
Well, full credit to Hatton there, because Denton was clinging on for dear life, but he managed to shake him off and get some punches off. Most fighters would just have waited for the referee to break, but Hatton shook him off and got some punches home. Nice bit of technique there from Hatton.
Oh, yes, he was pulling back from that all right, Denton, but he still copped for a little bit of the glove.
I say, just wants to drop down a gear at the moment, Hatton. Just stay on top of Denton, just find the target. Don't just blast through defences. Just pick the target.
He's going to concentrate on getting to his head cupped in there, but between his gloves now, Denton, like that. You see, to try and block him coming in, and he needs all the help he can get.
I mean, it's lovely to see he gets punches out, Reg, when there's really no room to get punches out. Hatton improving every time I see him.
Wonderful experience for him, Jim. Atlantic City, New York, Madison Square Garden, still a bit, really the mecca as far as American boxing goes. Gives a young fighter a lot of confidence, you see.
See there again, Denton spoiling, but Hatton doesn't get involved, just makes a little bit of room, steps back and gets some punches out. Considering he's only a kid, Reg, he's coming along nicely.
He boxed in the World Juniors, Jim, got a bronze in Havana back in '97.
Blood red in the eye. That's
yes.
the last thing he wants. This early in
Oh,
the fight.
yes. Now that spurred Denton on there. He spotted that all right. That's really running down his cheek there. It looks as though it was in the corner of the eye as well.
They've both been a little bit guilty with their heads up close. So I think maybe a change of plan now.
Yeah, well, certainly Billy Graham's got to get working quickly on that, and he is. Now, I wonder how bad that is. Well, I mean, obviously it's not going to get better during a contest, we know that, but then you've got the skill of the seconds with his adrenaline. It's the only and it may have been a head clash. It often is, unintentional perhaps.
Well, heads have been banging all the way through.
Yeah, it could be there.
Yep. Well, I mean, it could have been half a dozen times. That's possible, but it could have been any half a dozen little clashes that were taking place. Denton, the culprit, you know, the spoiling tactics. He's come out on top result-wise.
I'm not sure. I think, is that the first time he's been cut in a contest? I'm sure it is, Ricky Hatton. He's certainly never been taken account, and he scored 13 knockdowns along the way. Well, he's got to fight his way through the cuts and bruises. You all have to, you fellas, Jim, don't you? Third round then. Scheduled 8 at the light welter division. 10 stoners. Now let's see how that injury to Ricky Hatton's left eye stands up. Whether he can get this fight over with quickly to stop it worsening.
Well, the only advice I would give is don't worsen it by rubbing heads together. Don't change your tactics. It's not a serious cut. Don't do anything differently. Don't go looking for a knockout, but don't carry on like this.
Yeah,
or heads rubbing against it, going to worsen the injury.
Yeah, he tried to get his head lower than Denton's there. Did you notice that, Jim, under Denton's chin?
Yeah, but Hatton just wants to
Like
maybe
that.
to stand back a little bit if he can. Just not get quite so involved up close.
Yeah, watch your head, both boxers there, the referee. Oh, he unloaded there, just missed it with that long right hand too, Hatton. Oh dear, they really are rubbing heads unnecessarily here, and I'm surprised that Hatton's, well, not on his bike, that's not his style, but just a wee bit more careful.
I mean, he picks beautiful punches, Reg, up close and at long range. He should not have got involved this early after a cut. And he just had some treatment in the corner, and the cut's bleeding again. We have a fairly experienced referee, so that's a plus. We wouldn't expect him to panic, but bleeding badly again.
Well, it'd be a shame if he loses his unbeaten record. Jim, it looks a fairly bad one,
I tell you, Hatton is even more guilty than Denton with the head here. Yeah, good referee in there, because Hatton, as he's always trying to get his own back there, he's going to inflict damage on himself. He wants to get his head out of there. That was a blatant butt from Hatton there. This is the range he should be working at. I mean, he's far sharper than Denton, with better technique. But that's the range. When he gets up close, the heads are rubbing together. Just step back here and give yourself a little bit of room.
Yeah, a bit of daylight between them there they need.
I don't think the cut has worsened, Reg. I think
No.
it's just started bleeding again. So I don't think the problem is any worse than it was, but it's Hatton's tactics here. He's taken too many chances with that injury.
So referee had a good look at that corner work there. Let's have another look there. Oops, that really would worsen it, didn't it, that one? And this is the one, Jim, look, just bored his way in there.
Yeah, but it's more of a rub, I suppose, than an actual butt, but it was intentional, so the referee was right to pull him about that. I'd like to see Hatton just see what he can do with this fellow at long range for the first minute of this round. Just see if he can outbox him, if he can land the punches without taking any. Well, he's got some success straight away.
It looks like he's going for it. Maybe he's been warned in the corner. Come on, try and get this fight over with. It's an 8-round schedule. It's only the 4th now.
Well, no signs, Reg, in the first 3 rounds that Denton was ready to be stopped. So a little bit more care would have impressed me. Just, that's the head again, both dangerous. I'd like to see him step back here and give himself some room and get that injury out of harm's way. Yep, 2 of them very guilty.
Yeah, both of you, I say. Keith Garner. Oh, solid shots right on the point there. He's taking those well, Denton.
I wouldn't complain about this kind of action for Hatton if he wasn't cut, Reg. It's the fact that he's cut. He really should be cleaning up his act a little bit. I mean, he's boxing well, he's throwing good punches, he's doing everything you want him to do, but not with a cut. I think that was our final warning we just heard there, Reg. For the kind of all-round dirty tactics, if you like.
Yeah, that surprised me, really. I didn't think the old Simon Pure ranks that he's learnt those things, but certainly found out what the pro game's all about. A bit too harsh for him.
I just think he's letting his heart rule his head here. He wants to get Denton out of there. He's annoyed, he's cut, he knows he's in danger of losing, and he's reacted badly. He wants to keep cool and show some boxing skills here. Doesn't have to knock everybody out. A point is a win. Everybody would be happy with that.
Untidy, but still plenty of action.
And no signs that injury is worsened, thankfully. And that was lovely. Slip the punch, back with the counter. Some nice little moves for a round or two. Get a couple of rounds in the bank. Just keep the eye out of trouble.
Yeah, they still haven't managed to get those coagulates to sort of seal it a little bit. That often happens actually in a contest.
There's that head again, Reg. He's taking a chance. He's been warned several times. He's not butting, he's just rubbing the forehead in.
Cheers!
So there's frantic work going on there, isn't there? There's the statistics of punches landed well, said it for itself, doesn't it, Emily? Hatton's really unloaded there, and a quick replay. Still working to the body as hard as he can there, Hatton. 5th round coming up. And the Manchester prospect, and he certainly is a prospect, he may be taken to the wire if he's not careful by Paul Denton from Birmingham. As a matter of fact, he had a win, I remember, over Ross Hale, former champion on cuts back in '96, but he hasn't won since.
Denton not spoiling here, he's just covering up. A chance for Hatton to let some punches go. He's got to step back, give himself some room, get leverage into the punches.
Watch your head, Hatton. Watch your head. Stop boxing.
He could end up being disqualified, Reg. I mean, I don't know how many warnings, I've lost count. He's not butting, but he's rubbing his forehead in.
Yes.
There's a little trickle of blood again going down Hatton's cheek there. Not actually interfering, I wouldn't have thought, with his sight at all. It's at the side.
I think as long as he stays in top, Reg, if this was a competitive fight, the referee would be more worried about it if it was an even match. But he is fairly on top, he's controlling things. So provided the injury doesn't worsen badly, he should be okay. Just set about his job and forget about the cut.
Notice here, Hatton just glanced at the referee. You know, now getting a bit concerned. Is the red card coming out, as it were? You know, he knows that he's in trouble, not only with the cut but with the warnings. Then, you know,
I mean, it's more mischief, Reg, isn't it? It's more mischief than
exactly.
Spite, if you like. He's not butting. He's just leaving his head in and rubbing it in Denton's face. So I'd be very surprised if he ends up disqualified, but still has to be careful. That was a good punch, good right hand. Yep, signs now. Denton struggling.
Well, below punching that one.
Time now to launch an attack.
The bowling Denton, let him go.
Denton's punch is looking a little bit tired now, Reg.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit weary. A weary look about him.
He's soaked up enough. Oh, good right hand punch, that one. Solid.
Yep, I don't know that Denton has too much left, Reg.
We have another big day of live football coming up for you on Sunday. Midday, Sheffield United against Ipswich Town. That's followed at 3 by the big Premiership game, Arsenal against Leeds United. And from 6, it's Kilmarnock against Dundee United in Scotland. So 3 live games Sunday here on Sky Sports. And at last here in Liverpool tonight, a meaningful test for Richie Hatton. Back to Jim and Reg.
Well, it's like having the doctor in the corner there, isn't it? If the referee continues with these warnings, remember, oh, what a shot. He hasn't got I don't think he's going to worry about warnings after that. If he gets up, his legs will go on him, I think. Yeah, they have. He's going to stop it. Yeah. Now that is a way a champion to be would finish a contest, isn't it? Struggling with an injury, all right. Not a really bad injury, I'm pleased to say, but under a little bit of fire at times with the referee quite rightly telling him to behave himself. And Ricky Hatton pulled out the left hook, a pinch of a punch in boxing terms. Jim?
Yeah, well, obvious signs at the end of the 5th round that Denton didn't have very much left. So Hatton obviously sensing this and just charged right out at the beginning of the 6th round, gave him no chance to get settled.
Straight out, bang.
Straight out, off the stool.
Straight off the ejector seat there, it turned out, didn't it? Bingo.
I think Hatton knew Denton had nothing much left to offer. He fairly exhausted in the previous round. Excellent result, especially, as I say, with an injury all the way through.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, after 19 seconds of round 6, the referee stops the contest. Paul Denton in no position to continue. The winner, Richard Hatton.
Gary Thornhill is top of the bill shortly here,
please.
defending
Paul
his
Denton.
super featherweight's crown over 12 rounds against Steve Conway. Thornhill coming up shortly. But well done to Hatton, and he's come through a bit of a test here tonight. We're going to take a look at him in the ring, I think, Barry, and just check that some of those bits of cut damage that he sustained there are okay.
Yeah, I thought he was. He laboured a bit tonight, made a heavy weather of it. But well, let's hear what he's got to say. He was very impressive ultimately with that final punch.
What a dramatic finish there, Ricky. You seem desperate to get him out of the way.
Yeah, it was a great fight, a great opponent. But I got cut in the fight very early on. It's the first time I've ever been cut in my career, and it's just something new, you know, for me to deal with as I'm getting experience through my career.
How did you cope with it?
Well, I tried just to lean my head on his chest, but lean on the right side, you know, to try and keep my eye, that eye on, you know, try and keep this eye away from the shows. But the the shots, but he's a very good opponent. He's very slippery. He's quite good inside, even though he's very tall.
It seemed though your heads came dangerously close a lot of times. You got some warnings.
Trying to keep him out of the way, like I say, trying to lean my head across to try and keep the eye away from that way. But I think it was maybe a clash of styles, you know. My head was going in, his head was going in. He was very good inside with his elbows and, you know, really good opponent. I mean, he's fought some tremendous lads, so, and not many have knocked him out in that good a style, so I'm happy. I know I can do better, you know. I haven't even scraped the barrel, you know. I've got miles more to show and I've got miles more to improve as I'm still only 20 and 10 fights.
Ricky, what have you learned from 98?
Learned from 98 that the opponents are getting harder, so I have to rely on my boxing skills more than just me body shots, me out-and-out power, and tries to use me boxing. But it's the first time I've been cut in my career, and it was maybe, you know, a little bit, crimes, you know, panicking, and you know, maybe. Well, like I say, when it happens next time, you know, I'll be more prepared now. It's all learning for me.
Lovely. Thanks a lot, Ricky. See you next year.
Didn't he speak well? And everything he's been speaking about there, you and I have been saying up here. Well, you've been explaining it to me, so you might want to explain it to the viewers as well.
The problem is that when you fight as good as he does on the inside, it becomes seductive. You get good at it, and you want to blast everybody out. The problem is that when you punch up close, you punch correctly, you lay your head on your opponent's shoulder. You literally put your head right up against your opponent's head, and then you shift it to the other side and you hook, and you can feel every movement that he's going to make, so you can predict what he's going to do. But the problem is when you get cut, you got to adjust, you got to get your distance again. That's what Jim was saying, he needed to put more room in it. The first time he gave himself distance and threw that left hook, the first long range punch he threw, he took him out with it.
And overall, he's come through a night where we've learned a great deal more about him.
Indeed, he's had a number of experiences tonight. The first time he's gone, you know, he's gone this distance competitively. He's had a tough fight for 6 rounds or 5.5 rounds. Yeah. He's been cut. He's the experience of being cut and being able to handle and deal with that, and also come through a crisis and do it in efficient style.
Thank you, Barry. Let's get down to ringside. Glenn McCrory with Adam Smith.
Well, Glenn, he won the fight convincingly, but not an easy night's work for Ricky Hatton.
It wasn't. It was a pretty difficult test, and he had a few more problems to overcome. But I think, you know, he's just got to change a few things. I think he's just watching a few too many Roberto Duran videos and just needs to step back. He's got, you know, technical ability is wonderful. He's really, really good. Got everything there, relaxes, does everything right. But I think he's just at times a little too intense. Keeps his head in far too much. Just needs to pull back. He's got the boxing ability to do that. He can make fights very easy. You know, he's still in the early stages of his career. Fights like this, he doesn't want hard fights, doesn't want to get cut. Just keep it easy, get nice wins, and then get stuck in when the fights mean something.
Thanks a lot, Glenn.
He makes it sound easy, doesn't he?